Hello gamers, this has been an episode I wanted to do since the start of this channel, the history of the Game Boy Color. Now, if you know anything about me, I was literally raised on retro video games. The first home console I had was an Xbox, an original Xbox. So before that, I had the Game Boy Color, and this provided me all the entertainment I needed as a kid. It might be a little bit obvious, but the Game Boy Color was the first Game Boy to play color games, hence the name Game Boy Color. It had the ability to show up to 56 colors simultaneously on a screen from a palette of over 32,000 was a big boost for the little handheld system, which simultaneously paved the road for the Game Boy Advance. To sum that all up, it was basically a Game Boy with color abilities. And there was a new cool feature about the Game Boy Color. The Game Boy Color was also the first handheld system to feature backwards capability, which basically means you can play your old Game Boy games on your new Game Boy Color, which also gives the Game Boy Color the largest library of video games. Yet another first, the Game Boy Color used an infrared communications port to allow information to be exchanged between two systems. This feature never became popular, but it was even built into the Nintendo DS. You might think that the Game Boy Advance game, WarioWare Twisted, was the first Game Boy title to use motion sensors. Think again. It all started with a little Game Boy Color game called Kirby Tilt and Tumble. The motion sensor, or tilt cartridge, was similar to the one used in the title Star Fox 64 for the Nintendo 64, which featured the unique rumble pack, which vibrated the controller every time you ran into something or was shot in the game. It was at this time in the 90s that Nintendo decided to put their new rumble pack on a handheld system, the Game Boy Color. Pretty unique Game Boy Color collection. On the first hand, I have an original Dandelion Yellow version of the Game Boy Color. On the other hand, I have a special Pokemon Edition one, which is during the Pokemon craze, so that's pretty cool. I've never actually seen someone have these in person. I have a pretty cool Game Boy Color collection. Now, I can't show you all of it, so let me just show you my absolute favorites. Let's start the list off with Super Mario Bros. Deluxe. Now, it's just a copy of the original 1985 Mario Bros. Game, but it's still fun that they put it into a handheld. Next one is one of my favorite franchises ever, Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. Now, Legend of Zelda is one of my favorite franchises ever, so I'm glad that they put it onto a portable device with Link's Awakening. Next, Pokemon Red. I actually played this game so much when I was younger, I had to get a new game because the memory card ran out. The next one is Donkey Kong. This is actually a game that started the Nintendo franchise being a big contender in the video game industry. It all started when Universal Studios pressed charges against Nintendo, saying that Donkey Kong was an act of plagiarism against King Kong. Nintendo ultimately won, and placed themselves on one of the great video game companies. Game Boy Color was an innovative handheld system. Even though it was just a recreation of the Game Boy that just added color, it was still an innovative system that laid foundations for future consoles. So thanks for watching my video, and if you like others, why don't you press that subscribe button there. Kill49ers80, thanks for watching.